Good morning, everyone. This is Xpeng third quarter 2020 earnings conference call, which we are going to start in about 4 minutes. So I have the conference call here open, so we're waiting for it to start again. So before we wait, just let's look really quick at the price action today. You see that after hours, we kind of get another 5-7% from $33 to almost $35 as of as of right now. So yeah, it would be interesting to see. Everybody expects, some interesting results from Xpeng. But before we go any further, here's the brief. Here, by the way, tell me if your sound is okay. Sorry, it's 38. Then I have something wrong. Thank you for correcting me. I was just about to buy more yesterday and I didn't have time to do this, so oh, what is your average entry price? Let me know in the comments here. Alright, so while we have a couple minutes, just so you know, in November 2019, Xpeng raised $400 million in a third fundraising round, which sees Xiaomi, if you don't know, I suggest you Google. This is a great company. Joins as a strategic investor of Xpeng at that point. But that's not it. In July 2020, Xpeng raised another $500 million from a group of investors, including well-known Sequoia Capital China. In August 2020, Xpeng raised an additional $400 million from a group of investors, including Alibaba, Qatar Investment Authority, and Abu Dhabi's sovereign wealth fund, Mubadala. Sorry for that. Yeah, so it shows us that Xpeng has really interesting investors there. And well, it's not as opposite, but NIO has a different well-known investors, more like investor funds today. So if you want to know more about electric vehicles or stocks in general, or personal finance, don't forget to subscribe. Well, and I appreciate if you like this video. So yeah, and after this conference call, upcoming is Highland conference call earnings. That is the first one as well. It will be interesting to see. Oh, I think my lights just went down. It happens. So you see it crumbling there. Okay, so before we wait, we still have a few seconds. I will just start to play.
小 P， 来点音乐。
安全驾驶也要分神哦，已为您开启空气防护。
All right, I was on mute. Yeah, so my question was, is the sound is correct for you? Okay, it started.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for standing by for the third quarter 2020 earnings conference call for Xpeng Incorporated. At this time, all participants are in a listen-only mode. After management's remarks, there will be a question and answer session. Today's conference call is being recorded. I will now turn the call over to your host, Mr. Charles Zhang, Managing Director of Strategy of the company. Please go ahead, Mr. Zhang.
Thank you. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third quarter 2020 earnings conference call of Xpeng Inc. The company's financial and operating results were issued via Newswire services early today and are available online. You can also view the earnings press release by visiting the IR section of our website at ir.xiaopeng.com. Participants on today's call will include our co-founder, chairman, and CEO, Mr. Xiaopeng He, Vice Chairman and President, Dr. Brian Gu, Vice President of Finance, Mr. Dennis Liu, and myself. Management will begin with prepared remarks, and the call will conclude with a Q&A session. As a reminder, this conference is being recorded. A webcast replay of this conference call will be available on the IR section of our website. Before we continue, please note that today's discussion will contain forward-looking statements made under the Safe Harbor provisions of the U.S. Private Securities Litigation Reform Act of 1995. Forward-looking statements involve inherent risks and uncertainties. As such, the company's results may be materially different from the views expressed today. Further information regarding these and other risks and uncertainties is included in the relevant public filings of the company as filed with U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. The company does not assume any obligation to update any forward-looking statements except as required under the applicable law. Please also note that Xpeng's earnings press release and this conference call include the discussions of unaudited GAAP financial measures as well as unaudited non-GAAP financial measures. Xpeng's press release contains a reconciliation of the unaudited non-GAAP measures to the unaudited GAAP measures. I will now turn the call over to our co-founder, chairman, and CEO, Mr. Xiaopeng He. Please go ahead.
Hello， 大家好。感谢各位参加小鹏汽车上市后的首次业绩电话会。
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining Xpeng's inaugural earnings conference call today.
在2020年8月27日，那么小鹏汽车在纽交所成功上市，也开启了作为上市公司的新的征程。在此，我代表全体公司员工向所有的新老股东表示感谢。
On August 27, 2020, Xpeng successfully listed on the New York Stock Exchange, a significant milestone marking the start of our new journey as a public company. On behalf of all the employees and myself, I'd like to extend our sincere gratitude and appreciation to all of the long-time and new shareholders who have been supporting us.
今天我们公布作为上市公司的第一份季报，很高兴我们在3季度取得了强劲的业绩表现。总交付数量同比增长了266%，达到了8578台。同时，随着 P7 的规模交付以及收入规模的大幅度增长，在本季度我们实现了4.6%的正毛利率。
Today marks another milestone for Xpeng as we reported our first quarterly results following our successful IPO. We're pleased to be speaking with you today about our strong operating and financial performance in the third quarter, in which total vehicle deliveries increased by 266% year over year to 8,578 units. In addition, we achieved positive gross margin of 4.6%, bolstered by significant revenue growth and mass deliveries of the P7.
我们的第二款量产的智能电动轿车 P7。自今年6月下旬开始批量交付以来，那么交付的规模在快速的上升。那么在第3季度，我们共交付了6210台 P7， 其中支持 XPENG 2.5或者 XPENG 3.0自动辅助驾驶配置的车型达到了98%。那么在10月20号，第1万辆 P7 在我们的中国肇庆工厂下线，那么刷新了中国造车新势力产量破万的最快纪录。这展现了小鹏汽车在研发、制造、品牌、销售和服务里面的全方位布局所带来的综合实力的提升。
The P7 is our smart sports sedan, which is also our second in mass production level model. Deliveries of the P7 have maintained fast growth momentum since our mass delivery began in late June. During the third quarter, we delivered 6,210 P7s, of which 98% can support XPilot 2.5 or XPilot 3.0, our advanced autonomous driving systems. It is worth noting that on October 20th, the 10,000th P7 rolled off our production line in our own Zhaoqing facility. We now hold the record as the fastest emerging smart EV company to surpass the 10,000 vehicle production mark. All these achievements demonstrate our ever stronger capabilities across the entire EV spectrum in research and development, manufacturing, branding, and sales and services.
我相信小鹏汽车是中国唯一一家在全站自研自动辅助驾驶软件跟智能座舱的整车的企业。在今年10月24号，也就是小鹏的第2届的汽车科技日，我们展示了我们最新的 OTA 的这个一个叫做全语音的车载系统，那目前是全球第一个，它能够支持全场景的连续对话，以及能够达到用户所见即所说。那么这是我们在自主研发第2代智能驾驶座舱的关键技术。同时我们在这次1024我们也展示了我们全站自研的一个高速自主导航驾驶系统，我们简称叫 NGP， 它可以实现在高速上自主的变道、超车、切换匝道的能力。那么我们的目标是要做中国最强的领航辅助驾驶系统。我们计划在明年初将 XPENG 3.0 OTA 给我们的用户，并且我们将在2021年第1季度去做一个在从广州到北京长达2000多公里的高速公路上进行 NGP 的一个远征。那么我相信这仅仅是中国特色的高等级自动辅助驾驶一个能力释放的开始。我坚信在更长远的将来，只有坚持深度的全站自研，才能造就出产品的差异化和企业的核心竞争力。
I believe Xpeng is the only Chinese car-making company that is developing full-stack autonomous driving software and smart in-car operating system in-house. On the second Xpeng Tech Day, which was held on October 24th this year, we showcased our first-of-its-kind all-voice in-car system, which enables continuous driver-vehicle dialogue interactions covering a broad range of scenarios. It is one of our key proprietary technologies developed for and applied in our second-generation X Smart OS operation system. We also showcase our autonomous driving technology capabilities, bolstered by our in-house developed navigation guided pilot system, also known as NGP, which enables autonomous driving on highways with features including autonomous lane changes, overtaking other vehicles, and switching ramps, amongst other things. Our goal is to provide the most advanced navigation-guided autonomous driving system in China. We plan to make the NGP system available to our customers via OTA earlier next year. In the first quarter of 2021, we plan to conduct an expedition for our NGP to cross over 2,000 kilometers of highway from Guangzhou to Beijing. We believe this is just the beginning of how high-level autonomous driving technology is transforming mobility in China. I firmly believe that dedication to full-stack in-house R&D is the key to enhancing our product differentiation and solidifying our core competitiveness.
那么在生产制造方面，继我们的第一个肇庆的工厂在上半年正式成为 P7 的量产制造基地之后，我们的第2个生产制造基地的开发建设也在今年的9月份落地广州市开发区，我们获得了广州市政府的非常大力的支持。那么我们计划于2022年年底前投产广州的这个制造基地。我们相信广州的智能制造基地跟肇庆的基地将共同构建小鹏汽车下一步的这一个生产制造的战略布局。
In terms of production, after our own Zhaoqing plant officially started mass production of the P7 in the first half of the year, in September, our second manufacturing base broke ground in the Guangzhou Economic Development Zone with strong support from Guangzhou government. We expect this new XPENG Smart EV manufacturing base to start production by the end of 2022. Together with our Zhaoqing manufacturing base, we have set a solid foundation for XPENG's long-term growth strategy.
在销售服务网点的建设方面，截至9月底，小鹏汽车在中国销售网点达到116家，服务网点达到50家，覆盖城市58座。
In terms of sales and service network, as of September 30th, 2020, XPENG's physical sales and service network comprised of a total of 116 stores and 50 service centers, covering 58 cities.
我们的自建的超充网络也在全国稳步的扩张。截至9月底，小鹏品牌的超级充电站已经运营了135座，覆盖了50座城市。那么在今年9月26号的北京车展上，我们发布了小鹏超充免费的这样一个充电计划。那么截止在9月底，这个计划已经在24个城市里面开通。我预计在今年的年底前实现，会不少于60个城市实施免费超充服务。那么小鹏会在未来的几年将一个大规模、超高效率的一个全国超充网络作为一个战略的投入来做。
Additionally, our supercharging network continued to expand across the nation. As of September 30th, 2020, XPENG branded supercharging stations has increased to 135, covering 50 cities. Furthermore, we announced an XPENG-sponsored free supercharging program at the Beijing Auto Show on September the 26th. The program has been initiated in 24 cities and will be expanded to at least 60 cities by the end of the year. XPENG will strategically invest in the nationwide deployment of a supercharging network over the next few years.
那么在不断增强我们在中国的智能汽车行业的领先地位的同时，我们也在积极的探索海外市场的发展。我们在今年9月份第一批迈向这个欧洲，到挪威的这样一个超长续航智能的 SUV G3i 已经出发。那么这标志了小鹏汽车向海外扩张跟探索的这个第一步。
While continuously strengthening our leadership position in China's smart EV industry, we're also strategically developing opportunities in international markets. For example, in September, we shipped the first batch of XPENG's G3s to Europe. The super long-range version of the G3 is our smart SUV model adapted for European markets with the specifications. The shipment marked our first step to tapping international markets.
那么在第3季度，我们成功的完成9亿美元的 C 加轮融资和17亿美元的 IPO 融资，一共融资接近26亿美元。那么在充足的资本支持下，我们在未来将加大品牌、销售、充电网络的投资，以及在科技研发跟车型研发上的投入。
In the third quarter, we successfully completed our IPO, which had a total offering size of $1.7 billion. Together with the $900 million raised in Series C plus financing, our fundraising totaled nearly $2.6 billion in the third quarter. With the support of substantial capital reserves, we intend to increase investments in branding, sales and service network, charging network, as well as in technology advancement and model development.
我们预期在2020年第4季度，小鹏汽车的总交付数量约在1万台，并且我相信能够持续如此快速跟引人注目的销售业绩，它会除了得益于我们自己的研发的差异化的研发能力之外，我相信与我们今天的产品定位、与我们的品牌、与我们的生产能力和运营布局等都有密不可分的关联。
For the fourth quarter of 2020, we expect deliveries of our vehicles to be approximately 10,000 vehicles. Our ability to achieve remarkable performance is attributable not only to our strong in-house R&D capabilities, but also to our effective strategies in market positioning, product planning, manufacturing capabilities, and our operational roadmap.
好，谢谢大家。那么下面由我们的财务 VP Dennis Liu 这个为我们大家介绍第3季度的财务状况。
Thank you, everyone. With that, I'll now turn the call over to our VP of Finance, Mr. Dennis Lu, to discuss our financial performance for the third quarter.
Thank you, Xpeng, and hello, everyone. As noted, we delivered strong top-line performance in the third quarter, and posted a positive gross profit for the first time in our company history. We have reached this milestone in large part due to our successful launch and mass delivery of the P7, which also carries an increased average selling price compared with our prior model. Our August IPO and the New York Stock Exchange listing not only provide funding for our long-term sustainable growth, but also further strengthen our brand and our influence in the electric vehicle industry. Now I would like to walk you through our detailed financial results for the third quarter of 2020. Total revenues were RMB 2 billion for the third quarter, representing an increase of 343% from RMB 450 million for the same period of 2019, and an increase of 237% from RMB 591 million for the second quarter of this year. Revenues from vehicle sales were RMB 1.9 billion for the third quarter, representing an increase of 376% from RMB 399 million for the same period of 2019, and an increase of 251% from RMB 541 million for the second quarter this year. The year-over-year and the quarter-over-quarter increases were mainly due to the acceleration of deliveries of the P7 since we began its mass delivery in the late June this year. Gross margin was 4.6% for the third quarter, compared with a negative 10.1% for the same period last year, and also negative 2.7% for the second quarter this year. Vehicle margin was 3.2% for the third quarter, compared to negative 10.8% for the same period a year ago, and negative 5.6% for the second quarter this year. The increase was primarily due to better product mix, decrease in material cost, and improvement in our manufacturing efficiency. Research and development expenses were 635 million for the third quarter, representing an increase of 46% from RMB 435 million for the same period in 2019, and an increase of 99% from RMB 320 million for the second quarter this year. The year-over-year and the quarter-over-quarter increases were mainly due to a significant amount of share-based compensation expense recognized related to the share-based awards we granted to our employees with a performance condition of an IPO. If we exclude this share-based compensation expense, number one, our research and development expense will be a decrease year-over-year, primarily because we incur significant amount of expense relating to the development of the P7 in the same period last year. And number two, the research and development expense will increase quarter-over-quarter due to increase of design and development expense relating to the new product which will be launched next year. Selling, general, and administrative expenses were RMB 1.2 billion for the third quarter, representing an increase of 321% from RMB 286 million for the same period last year, and an increase of 152% from RMB 477 million for the second quarter of 2020. The year-over-year and the quarter-over-quarter increase were mainly due to the share-based compensation expense recognized for the reason mentioned above. Excluding the share-based compensation expense, the increase mainly resulted from higher marketing and promotional spending to support the minimum vehicle sales. Loss from operations was RMB 1.7 billion for the third quarter, compared with RMB 761 million for the same period last year, and RMB 779 million for the second quarter of 2020. Excluding the share-based compensation expense, the non-GAAP adjusted loss from operation was RMB 823 million. in the third quarter, compared with 761 million for the same period last year, and also compared with RMB 779 million for the second quarter this year. Net loss was RMB 1.1 billion for the third quarter, compared with RMB 776 million for the same period in 2019, and RMB 146 million for the second quarter of 2020. Excluding the share-based compensation expense and fair value change on derivative liabilities related to the redemption right of the preferred share, the non-GAAP adjusted net loss was RMB 865 million in the third quarter, compared with 751 million for the same period of 2019, and also compared to 717 million for the second quarter this year. Net loss attributable to ordinary shareholders of XPeng was RMB 2.0 billion for the third quarter, compared with RMB 982 million for the same period in 2019, and also compared with RMB 1.1 billion in the second quarter this year. Fair value change on derivative liabilities related to the redemption right of preferred share and accretion of preferred share to redemption value were non-cash events which will no longer recur after IPO. Excluding the share-based compensation expense, the fair value change on derivative liabilities related to the redemption right of the preferred share and accretion of preferred share to the redemption value, the non-GAAP adjusted net loss attributable to ordinary shareholders of XPeng Inc. was RMB 865 million for the third quarter, compared with RMB 751 million for the same period a year ago, and also compared to RMB 770 million for the second quarter this year. Basic and diluted net loss per ADS were both RMB 5.07 for the third quarter of 2020. Non-GAAP basic and diluted net loss per ADS were both RMB 2.16 for the third quarter of 2020. Each ADS represents 2 Class A ordinary shares. Now turn to our balance sheet. At the end of September 2020, the company had cash equivalents, restricted cash, and short-term investment of RMB 20 billion, compared with RMB 2.8 billion at the end of last year. The increase was primarily due to the net proceeds we received from company initial public offering in August this year, and also the Series C+ round financing. Now for our guidance, as XPeng mentioned earlier, for the first quarter of 2020, we currently expect the delivery of vehicles will be approximately 10,000 units, representing an year-over-year increase of about 211%. We also expect the total revenue for the fourth quarter of 2020 will be approximately RMB 2.2 billion, representing an year-over-year increase of about 244%. The forecast reflects the company preliminary estimates of market operating condition and customer demand, which are all subject to change. This concludes our prepared remarks. We will now open for the call to questions. Operator, please go ahead.
Thank you. At this time, if you would like to ask a question, please press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. For the benefit of all participants on today's call.
Okay, this concludes earnings calls for today. Right now I'm going to switch to Hyliion earnings call, which starts in around 4 minutes. So I'm gonna end up this stream and go on to the next one. All in all, if you want a conclusion, you didn't hear that whole earnings, Xpeng is still not profitable, but they are growing their production capacities and think to deliver another 10,000 in the next quarter. Thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you.